It's possible to be afternoon. Let me get situated just right. Still trying to thaw out my bottom half. I'm not going to say the baptistry water was cold, but I don't know how to finish that sentence without lying. There's a reason why I stuttered through my baptistry, because the rest of them I was trying to catch my breath. Oh, it's warmed up for you perfectly. That's all right. I got something special for you tomorrow. Huh? You could have thrown a toaster in there and that still wouldn't warm that up. Yeah, I've been in some cold rivers. I've actually done a lot of baptisms without a heater at all. I'm not going to tell you why I enjoy the water part. I enjoy the baptism, but not the water part. Woo! All right. That's right. We're in 1 Samuel, chapter 18, starting in verse 17. Now, last week, we saw where Saul had become so enraged and jealous of David that he tried to turn him into a pincushion. Not once, but twice. Now, it takes a lot of guts to allow you to stand still and allow someone to throw a spear at you a second time. I mean, it's not like shooting a semi-automatic handgun where you just bang, 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 bang. I mean, there's a little bit of reloading that has to be involved in grabbing the spear again to throw it. Right?
Yes.
There we go. Or David carried it back to him. I'm sorry, sir, you missed. Here, let me go stand down there and I won't move this time. I mean, yeah. But the end result of that episode was not that David feared Saul, but quite the opposite. Saul feared David. And he feared David because he knew the Lord was with him. So we're going to pick up here in 17. We're going to pick up Saul is a master planner, not. He has devised a new scheme. He tried to pin him to the wall with a spear. That failed miserably. So what do you do when you want to kill somebody and your first plan fails? Well, Stephanie, I don't know. You watch a lot of Snap. So what do they do in those shows? Old Snap. If you haven't watched those shows, they're great for planning stuff. Anyhow. Yeah, that's right. Make sure the plastic is on the floor. Don't call your friends. Have a burner cell phone. Don't pay someone to do the job. Don't tell people what you're about to do. Never put it on Facebook. Anyhow, I digress. So Saul develops another plan. I can't kill him because the Lord is with him. So I'll develop a plan that someone else will kill him. Well, let's look and see how well this works. Then Saul said to David, "Here is my eldest daughter, Merab, and I will give her to you for a wife. Only be valiant for me and fight the Lord's battles." Oh, isn't that cute? Invoke the name of the Lord for the battle. For Saul thought, "Let not my hand be against him, but let the hands of the Philistines be against him." David said to Saul, "Who am I? And who are my relatives? My father's clan in Israel, that I should be the son-in-law to the king." But at the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David, she was given to Andrew, that guy, for a wife. Yeah. I'm not going to try to spring my tongue saying that. Maybe if I was unthawed. Where's Daniel? What's the plan? I have this brilliant plan. I'm going to make him my son-in-law, and the only provision is that he must fight the Lord's battles and go out and fight the Philistines, and I'll hope the Philistines kill him. Let me ask you a question. If I give the order for someone to be killed, am I just as guilty as the guy that pulled the trigger? According to the episode of Snap, you could actually go to jail for hiring someone to kill your spouse. Who would have known? Can you believe that? No way. Apparently, if you drive the car too, there's something about the law there too. Does this absolve Saul from killing? No, think about the reasoning. He knows that the Lord is with David. So I can't pin him to the wall anymore, because if I kill the individual that the Lord is with, I will incur what from whom? Wrath from God, right? So I'll develop a plan, because God will never know what I'm thinking. It's a genius. God will never figure this out and post it on Facebook or nothing. I'll make him my son-in-law, and I'll send him out to war. And if he dies, it's not my fault. It's his fault. Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate in-law problem now, isn't it? I know. Mine broke her leg a while back, so we've been safe for a while. But now her broom... Yes, her broom is fully charged, and she'll be... She'll stay too long. I'm teasing. She knows I joke this way. Yeah, I know. I have said nothing to her back I've not said to her face. But you have this problem. Saul is not going to, even if he marries him and he's successful, David may find that he dies in his sleep. No, it hasn't been exposed that far. The plan is that I can't reach out and kill the man, because apparently I'm a bad shot with a spear with a guy in the room with me. Twice, yeah. I'm a big man and a warrior, but I can't hit David and scare him like a boar, right? So I'll let the Philistines do it. Do you see the underhandedness in a man that is supposed to be the physical representation for the people as a leader of a nation? This is the reason why God did not want them to have a king, is that they would follow him and follow his righteous leadership. And yet the first king they get should have been returned under the Lemon Law. I mean, he's just a corrupt thing. He devises his plan. And David's response, David, I don't think is like going, oh, I sense that there is danger. Sorry, my keys are poking me. I don't think David is sitting there going, my spidey sense is tingling. I don't think I'll take this person. David's response is an honest response. Look, my family is a lowly family in the nation of Israel. What purpose would I to marry the king? Plus, David already knows something that Saul doesn't know. What is David in reality? He's the king. Saul just hasn't died. So David already knows something that Saul doesn't know, and he ain't going to tell him after the spear incident. Would you? No. That's how I found one of my folding tables in the woods. Well, not but the spear, but I was driving along, I found a folding table, I got out and I go, whose table is this? Put it in the vehicle, let's go. Anyhow, so David's response is, watch this. Who am I? Who are my relatives? My father's clan in Israel, that I should be the son-in-law to the king. I'm not of high enough esteem to be in the lineage of the king here for you. And so Saul gives her to another man. To another man. Verse 20. Saul is not done the master planner he is. Now Saul's daughter, Michal, loved David. And they told Saul the thing that pleased him. And he said, and Saul thought, let me give her to him so that she may be snare for him, and the hand of the Philistines may be against him. He isn't thrilled that his daughter loves David out of the fact that she loves David. Matter of fact, his thrill about this future union has nothing to do with her well-being, her happiness, or the fact that she's found a really good guy. His whole idea is, I'm glad you love him. It'll make killing him so much more easier. It's fairly diabolical, right? You see this. This only happens in movies or on the TV show Snapped. Whichever one, take your pick. I'm like plugging that show. I ought to get some royalties for plugging that show. Right. I think Lifetime owes me some royalties there. So they told Saul, it pleased him, let me give him to her that she may be what? A good and suitable bride for him? The woman of his dream, a trap, a snare. His love for her will blind him to the true intentions of what I want to do, which is to kill him, dispose of him, and get him out of the way, because no one has killed more men than I, Saul, even though David's killed 10,000 men, and a giant, why I cowered in my tent. Just saying. It's a good thing Saul didn't go out there and take his spears. Right? Yeah. The story would have been totally different if he had. Notice this second 2 times, that the hands of the Philistines may be against him. I will use my enemy to destroy my rival. Have we ever seen in politics where we do that? Have we ever seen in national affairs where we do that? What is the old adage? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I think it's Sun Tzu that says that. I will use my enemy. We did this in the Iran-Iraq war, right? We weren't big fans of the Iraqis, but we were certainly no fans of the Iranians. And so we backed the Iraqis, even though we're not big fans of them, because, well, we dislike the Iranians more. We do this in world politics. We utilize the enemy, our enemy, or someone we don't like, as a club to beat people we definitely do not like. It's nothing new. Look at the deception. We do this in our personal life, right? This is what we call triangulation in counseling. When you suck another person into the argument, that way they get side with you, and that way then you have a third person on there. I have a second Facebook account that I utilize in arguments, and that way it looks like 2 people ganging up on one guy, and it's really just me as 2 separate people. That's a neat way of triangulation, because the other person thinks they're getting the stuffing's kicked out, and they are, by the same guy under 2 separate names. It's a little on the devious side, is it not? It is. I'm not sending him out to battle to lose his life. We're just arguing. In this situation, Saul is attempting to utilize a natural enemy as a means to kill David, to where he can stand before Israel. And this would, imagine, this is the scene. I want you to see the scene. David's body comes in broken from battle. Saul weeps openly. He looks at the body and says, I'll make them pay. You fought so valiant. While secretly inside going, man, I am so glad he is dead. He is gone. See how this is politically advantageous for Saul. If the Philistines kill him, he now has a martyr to exploit for his own purposes. They have killed a valiant warrior. Let's go win one for the Gipper David. Think of the political expediency that he could hew out of this. We see this in politics all the time. Therefore, Saul said to David a second time, you shall now be my son-in-law. Saul commanded his servants, speak to David in private and say, behold, the king has a daughter, has delight in you. And all of his servants love you. More triangulation. Listen, what I want you to do is I want you to go and talk to him and talk this up. This is a great deal for you. This is a great plan. She's a looker. The king's a wealthy guy. Hey, this is in your best interest. The king loves you. The whole spear thing, he had a migraine. You were playing too loud. He lost his nerve. He threw a spear. Yeah, he picked it up, threw it again, but you should have learned your lesson and run away. Right? There's a brilliant YouTube video that I was watching yesterday, and it says how to protect yourself against a knife attack. The guy whips out a knife, and the guy goes, "Ah!" and runs off. Well, he didn't even do that. He just ran. David, you should have run, David. Let that be bygones. The king really likes you. This is a good deal. You know, he says, great. Do these people mean this? This is almost the equivalent of the Trojan horse, is it not? I've yet to understand the whole concept of the Trojan horse thing. I mean, I got the story. But in what mind do you destroy your exterior defenses to bring in this giant thing that you can't fit inside your walls and not search it first? Right? You don't do any investigation. Then you have this big party and the guys inside sneak out, kill you, and they take the city, right? That's the whole purpose behind the Trojan horse. This is kind of the same thing. She's the first incident of a Trojan horse. Well, she's actually the second one. The first one didn't work. And he utilizes his powers of court to get David persuaded for this. And Saul's servant spoke, verse 23, spoke these words in the ears of David. Notice that terminology, in the ears of David. There's a bit of an underhanded tone with that phraseology. Not spoke openly to David about it, but more in the tone of kind of the whisper, innuendo kind of understanding. There's one way to take this. Guess what? The king really likes you. He tried to spear me. Yeah, don't worry about that. You know, he was having a hard day. You weren't doing the right thing. You know, the migraines. Yeah, you know, that evil spirit. We all know. It's okay. He kind of gets that way. The other day he threw a rock at Bill. He was okay. Yeah, it's all right. There's so much pressure being the king. Besides, you know, it was your fault to begin with. And David said, does it seem to you a little thing to become the king's son-in-law, since I am a poor man and have no reputation? Now, that's not entirely true. And yeah, it's true that he's a poor man, but does he have a reputation? Yeah, I would say so. I mean, compared to the king, yeah, he's pretty poor. That's true, and that's his point. Would the king take his daughter and give it to a person of a lower class standing as opposed to marrying her off to another kingdom for political alliance? Why would he be so interested in giving me his daughter as opposed to utilizing her for real political hay? I mean, she could have been married off to one of the leaders of the 5 Philistine cities to bring peace to the land. He could have married both of them off to 2 of the 5 Philistine leaders and brought peace from 2 of the 5 city-states there. He doesn't. And so David is asking valid questions. This smells to me to be a little too good, and I don't deserve it because I am of lowly stature. Do you think Saul is really worried about the law at this stage in the game? When you decide to become prophet, priest, and king all at one time, and Samuel goes, God said, here, done. I think in Saul's mind, he would have done it. I think he would have done it out of an expediency issue. Now, again, this is an argument from silence. There's no scriptural text for this. But, yes, you're right. They are forbidden to marry outside their faith, but yet they did so. Solomon took many wives, and it led Solomon's heart away from God. This was a common imperial court issue. And if you're going to step in and sacrifice to God, if you're going to step in and do things for God or not follow God's command, do you really think he's really going to be upset over marrying off his daughter a direct violation of God's law? No, because he's already tried to pin the next king to the wall with a spear. And all right, the chosen one, absolutely. And then plotted his murder not once but now twice. Then Saul said, thus it shall be said to David, the king desires no bride price except 100 foreskins of the Philistines, that he may be avenged the king's enemies. Now, if you're Michal, some people say it Michelle. There's no E there, so I don't know how you get that. Your sister, there's a dowry that's exchanged for the wife, for the woman. The king goes, I'll waive it. the daughter's got to have a self-esteem issue now, right? But the price is 100 foreskin. I tell you what that is. Well, yeah, she wants that as an inheritance. I don't think that's really going to help her much in life. Yeah, I don't think so. No, I don't think. No, that's like a fashion nightmare. Oh, yeah. That's the price, 100. Why? To avenge the king's enemies. Now, think about this. Does he really want the 100 foreskin? No! I'm trying to kill this dude with a spear, trying to kill him in battle. I'm trying to kill him again. I'll send him out there. He goes, fights 100 Philistines, and hopefully he dies. The thing is he didn't read the book of Judges. When the Lord is upon a person mightily, it's kind of hard to kill him. Samuel killed 300 with the jawbone of an ass. Sorry. Samson, the name of my dog. Man, I can really preach some heresy if you give me a moment. It's good they didn't pound the pulpit at that time. Samson kills 300 of them with a bone. You think there's 100 dudes are going to stand against David? He's already smacked down their giant, and he's got the reputation of being valiant in battle. And he was good looking. And he won. He was hard to beat. It's like taking on Chuck Norris. Right? You know, the boogeyman checks under his bed for Chuck Norris. I could do that all day long. I worked with soldiers for 9 years. Chuck Norris jokes were the best. Made for some interesting reading in places. Anyhow. So now Saul thought to make David fall by the hands of the Philistines. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law. Hey, if this is the price, cha-ching, I'm in. David arose and went along with some of his men, and he killed 200 Philistines. David brought their foreskin, which was given in full number to the king, that he might become the king's son-in-law. Saul gave him his daughter to be his wife, but when Saul saw, he knew that the Lord was with David. This is a common refrain, isn't it? He knew that the Lord was with David. And with Michal, Saul's daughter, loved him. And notice this. Who is afraid? And Saul was even more afraid of David. Check the next sentence. So Saul was David's enemy continually. I have a rival. I have a man that is challenging my stature in my position, and I have two ways of dealing with it. I can either utilize him as a good developer of leaders. Take this man who is mighty in battle and say, brother, I need you to go lead my army in this area and be successful. Or I can look at a situation and say, this man one day will usurp the throne, and I got to kill him. One is based upon an understanding of how to utilize people greatly for a mission, and the other one is based upon how I can maintain control over a situation. Saul's responses here are a means to eliminate a problem through deception and I had the word right on my tongue. Basically through deception and selfish means. When it fails, Saul recognizes two things. One, the Lord is with him. Something that the refrain is always referring to. And Saul feared David, for he knew the Lord was with him. And Saul feared David, for he knew the Lord was with him. And instead of coming to grips with the fact that this is God's person and the Lord is with him and embracing him, Saul does what? He and David now are continual enemies. Do you think that that was felt when Saul and David were around each other? How many of you ever been to that family reunion where you've got the one handful of family members that are always fighting with the other one? Do y'all ever have that? No. Y'all know I have an idiot brother-in-law, right? You know, hopefully he'll be going to jail for a while. Knocking on plexiglass, I don't know. That's a new phrase in our culture. Yeah. When we would get together for family dinners, this dude's a nut. I mean, seriously, this dude's a nut. He's gone back to following all the Old Testament laws and all the dietary things. And he would get in there, and one Christmas we showed up, and he looks like a stew bum. Remember the picture of Saddam Hussein when they drug him out of the hole with the big bushy beard and the hair like that and kind of the wild, crazy look in his eye? I swear you'd have taken a photo, put them right next to each other, with the exception that one has red hair and one has dark hair. Had the same look and the same bushy beard. Yeah. This guy kind of had grayish, silver, reddish hair. But every time we would get together, this tension was there. Because he's a nut, and we're not. And he doesn't like us, and we really don't particularly cotton to him either. You ever felt that? No, hostilities were never exchanged. It was always, hey, how's it going? Da, 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 blah, blah, blah. But we can't stand each other. Imagine the work environment. In the Army, we call this a hostile work situation. You know, I've never been to work where my boss has tried to scare me with a spear twice, plotted my death by having me marry his daughters twice, send me out to get 100 foreskin of my enemies once, hoping they will die. Can you imagine being in that working relationship with that kind of tension? And who's the source of this tension? It's Saul. It's Saul's jealousy. It's Saul's pride. It's Saul's ego. And to complement or to complicate, however you want to use that terminology, there is this evil spirit that the Lord is utilizing to attack Saul. Because God's Spirit has come off Saul and onto whom? David. It is common to see this in family dynamics, political dynamics, national dynamics, church dynamics, work dynamics. And it's all preventable. This lesson that we see with Saul's behavior is preventable. Why? Saul has a man who is mighty in war. And instead of utilizing him for great things, use him as a threat, and in so doing, seeks his destruction at every single turn. The people that shine around you, are they your threat or are they your asset? That's a good question, isn't it? A lot of times we view these people as threats. When I was a machinist, there's and it's a common phrase throughout all industries, you train your replacement. And what a lot of guys will do is they will train them only so far to where they still remain valuable. And that way the new guy doesn't know all that the master knows. That way the master still stays valuable. But what happens is if something happens to that master, who has been harmed? That young man and that industry. It's designed to have job security for themselves. And then there's another school of thought is I will train you everything that I know and teach you more to where you can know more than I so that you can eventually teach me what you know. And in so doing, both sides are raised. I've seen both type of machinists. One designed to preserve their own selves and their own careers and their own little fiefdom. And those that say, hey, I'm going to show you everything you need to know because it's not about me. At the end of the day, it's about making quality product, not about who gets the credit for the quality product. You go back to the original source, what was the issue? David has killed his tens of thousands. Saul has killed his thousands. Jealousy over the quality of product. I'm the king, I should kill more men. Well, maybe you should get out of your tent more. I'm the king, I should kill more men. Well, that is, of course, unless the God is with this guy. All these issues, all this to chapter 19, has been led due to a big issue over jealousy of a rival. One of the dangers we have personally amongst individuals is being jealous over rivals. It's easy to do. I do at times. I know other people do at times. The end result, who am I hurting? Not hurting him. Saul in this whole escapade, who was Saul hurting the whole time? David? Himself. The text constantly has a refrain. And Saul was afraid of David. Let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and this opportunity to look at your word. Look at the example of the relationship we have amongst one another and amongst our community, within our world, within politics. This whole interplay between Saul and David can be mirrored in national politics, local politics, family politics, work politics, everywhere it goes. Why? Because it is basically the nature of two people fighting amongst itself. How best to view a rival, how best to view a talented individual, how best to view the shortcomings that one has. These verses are here to serve both as warning and lesson. Warning not to behave this way and lessons on how not to behave that way. We see both good and bad. We see the wickedness of Saul's intent, and we see the good in David as he is intending to maintain a moral character, even though you have a king that is doing nothing more than pushing an immoral agenda. Let us always be wary of how we address issues that are rivals, myself included. Many a time I have behaved in this way, thinking I was doing the right thing, but in reality I was hurting only myself. I ask your blessing upon us in your name we pray. Amen. All right. And I just lost my that's okay. I'll find it later. When I read my Bible in the morning, Miss Van. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And a lot of guys think that they're going to train the replacement, so they're moved out. Yep. All righty. Whoo! It's a nice, cool day out there.